What happened to the main Hollywood beauties? How do the actors who played the main child roles in the 90s look like now? And what happened to actors who used to fight off groupies? Let's take a look. This is Infinity, and in this episode I'll show you famous actors who have changed beyond recognition. Let's go! Brendan Fraser. At the turn of the century, Brendan Fraser was a superstar. His starring role as Rick O'Connell in the Mummy trilogy made him a celebrity. Brendan was remembered as a real handsome man. But by the end of the noughties, Brendan slowly began to be forgotten. The actor fell off the grid. When he was remembered, Brendan was not the same as he appeared on the screens in The Mummy. Baldness, overweight, and bad appearance – these are just a few of the changes that happened in Brendan's life in a few years. The actor's even been maliciously joked about, turning his photos into memes. In 2017, Brendan surprised everyone again. Paparazzi photographed the actor who gained even more weight, and this year, Fraser's caused a wave of discussion on the internet, surprising fans with not the best look and shape. Compared to The Mummy, Fraser has changed beyond recognition. But as it turns out, there was a reason for that. Not long ago, Fraser spoke frankly about his problems, including the harassment, divorce, and depression he had endured. All of this had taken its toll on Fraser's health. Upon learning of this, people on the internet began to join a small fan club, which soon turned into an entire fandom. Now, fans are massively supporting Brendan, waiting for his return to the movie business, as well as apologizing for offensive memes. Brendan himself had no idea how much support he had on the internet, so he was very touched when he found out about it. Matthew Perry. In the 90s, everybody was crazy about the Friends TV series. Even now, there are a lot of fans of the show, and recently the special Friends The Reunion episode, where all the actors came together and remembered the nostalgic period of filming, was released. Many fans who watched the episode were especially surprised by Matthew Perry, who played Chandler on the show. The 90s sitcom favorite has aged and changed beyond recognition. It's hard to believe that once Matthew broke the hearts of his fans because now the actor looks like he doesn't particularly want to take care of himself. In addition, Matthew's gained a lot of weight and turned gray. Many people think that the reason for this is the usual aging as well as bad habits and lack of desire to care for himself. To some extent, they're right. Friends was filmed almost 30 years ago. In one interview, the actor said that he had been trying to overcome several severe addictions at once for 10 years. On top of that, he underwent surgery for gastrointestinal perforation in 2018. All of this couldn't help but affect the actor's appearance, but it's worth noting that for his 52 years, Matthew looks quite good, especially considering what he went through. Russell Crowe became famous throughout the world for his starring role in the movie Gladiator, in which he appeared as Roman General Maximus. Fans also know him from such films as A Beautiful Mind, LA Confidential, A Good Year, and many others. But now it's hard to recognize in Russell any of the characters whose roles he played, because the actors changed beyond recognition. Stubble was replaced by a thick gray beard, short hair was replaced by long strands of gray, and muscles were replaced by overweight. Russell put on a few dozen extra kilos, aged, and now prefers to go out in public wearing sunglasses. It's difficult to recognize in the actor the same Russell in whom 20 years ago people fell in love with for good acting and attractiveness. To some extent, these changes are related to the acting. For several recent roles, Russell had to gain weight. Aging is also related to this because a lot of years have passed since the early noughties, but most importantly, that Russell is not going to give up completely. Recently, paparazzi spotted the actor at a tennis practice in Sydney. Should we wait for the return of his former shape? Russell Crowe's transformation can safely be called one of the most unexpected and unusual. But among the actors, there are those who have changed a lot more over the years. Stay tuned to see the incredible and frightening changes in the appearance of the main child actors of the 1990s. Macaulay Culkin is a case when an actor can change beyond recognition several times. The early 90s were a golden time for Macaulay. The resounding success of Home Alone and its sequel, worldwide fame, and the status of the most famous child actor on the planet. After success, Macaulay starred in several more films, after which he fell off the grid for almost 10 years. He returned to the big screen as a young guy in whom it was difficult to recognize the naive and brave Kevin McAllister. Throughout the noughties, Culkin looked like a rock star on tour, tired, disheveled, and leading not the healthiest lifestyle. Not surprisingly, all of this has affected the actor's image. It affected so much that 10 to 15 years ago, the media had repeatedly appeared news that Culkin died from an illness or an overdose. All of this news turned out to be fake, and Macaulay himself finally came to his senses. A few years ago, the actor transformed again. Now it's hard to recognize in him the guy who recently led an excessively wild lifestyle. Since recently, Macaulay tries to keep in shape and care of himself as far as possible. That's a good thing, because the actor's already over 40. Next up is Edward Furlong, another famous actor who became famous as a child. The Terminator 2 fans know who I'm talking about. And if this is the first time you've heard this name, you know the character Edward played. He appeared on screen as John Connor, the last hope for humanity, and the leader of the world resistance in the war between mankind and the machines. At the time of Terminator 2, filming in which Edward made his debut as an actor, he was 13 years old. Now Edward's 44, and it's hard to recognize young John Connor in him. The young star couldn't handle the resounding success of Terminator 2 without consequences. The talented actor began to ruin his career and health, in spite of the fact that after starring in such a film, the doors were open to any Hollywood project for him. Alcohol, substances, problems with the law, all this accompanied Edward for many years. Many of Edward's recent photos show him to be unhealthy looking and overweight. However, like Culkin, the actor didn't let himself go completely and is now gradually getting out of the swamp in which he dragged himself. Who knows? Maybe in the future he'll play John Connor, but this time it'll be adult John. Amanda Bynes. The case of Amanda Bynes illustrates just how extensive transformations in appearance can be sometimes. The bright and beautiful girl was the star of the youth comedies of the noughties, What a Girl Wants, Sydney White, She's the Man. Fans loved Amanda for these and other films and projects. Many viewers are probably wondering why Amanda hasn't been seen in a long time. Could it be that movies featuring her are poorly promoted and hardly ever advertised? No, it's because she hasn't acted in over a decade. In just a few years, the star of youth movies has severely let herself go. Bynes has become addicted to alcohol and illegal substances, which has affected her appearance as well as her mental state. For this reason, Amanda simply stopped being invited to the movies. Over the past 10 years, a lot of bad things happened in Amanda's life. She repeatedly became the cause of road traffic accidents, and she was detained by the police. Also, Amanda was treated in a rehab center to overcome her addictions. It's unknown whether Amanda will finally cope with her addictions and get in shape. We can only hope that she will. Maybe we'll see her on the screens again. If in the noughties, many guys admired Amanda Bynes, in the 90s, they couldn't resist Pamela Anderson. At the time, she was one of the most famous and attractive actresses in the world. Her role in Baywatch cemented her status as a hot beauty with a great figure and charming looks. All this was reinforced by modeling shoots and participation in a variety of other projects. That would be all right, but a lot of time has passed since then, and Pamela Anderson has changed a lot. So much so that now it's almost impossible to recognize CJ Parker from Baywatch in her. Pamela insists on natural beauty, cites the talented actress Meryl Streep as a role model, and believes that plastic surgery is not for her. At the same time, Pamela puts on more and more makeup every time to look younger. Some fans believe that the actress is lying and that she had cosmetic surgery. Now Batman is known for the roles of Christian Bale and Ben Affleck, but movies about this superhero have been made before. Another performer of the role of Batman was Val Kilmer, an American actor who played a superhero in the 1995 film Batman Forever. Val also became famous for his roles in other films such as Top Gun, The Doors, and The Saint. Over the years, and especially recently, Val has changed beyond recognition. The actor became overweight and worse looking overall. It was thought that the main reasons for this are love of fast food and alcohol, but it turned out that everything is much more complicated and worse. In 2015, the actor was diagnosed with throat cancer. The actor had to take a break from movies to undergo a full course of treatment. Fortunately, he beat the cancer, but the consequences remained and are still evident today. The therapy strongly affected the actor's appearance. Now, Val tries to appear less often in public and often hides his face behind a medical mask, which he did, by the way, even before the pandemic. But even this is not the worst thing. Unfortunately, after treatment, the actor can only eat through a special probe. In general, his transformation of appearance is understandable, and the most important thing is that Val is alive. That's all, guys. Which actor's transformation surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you later.